So we, Jen and I were just two people, and I think Leslie, you were part of it too, right? We're just two people who helped create info for this hybrid or remote learning support website. And if you scroll to the bottom of the homepage where it says hybrid remote learning, of course you can watch Rob's welcome video, but below that is where we're headed right now. And I give a little overview of the three types of presence. And then if you scroll down to this blue section right here that says social presence, that opens up to a document that Jen and I made together that we're going to go through. I would like to use this image just to give you a quick definition of social presence. So we right now are in that blue circle in the top left corner, social presence. So social presence is community building. I'm so glad Leslie is here. Leslie knows I'm a huge fan of hers, to talk about cooperative learning. So any of your cooperative learning moments in class are social presence. When you connect students with support services, like when things get serious and you know something's not right, and you connect a student to our support services that we have, that's social presence. It's just students getting to know one another, getting to know you getting to know them, everyone feeling socially connected. And then you can see that the blue circle overlaps with teaching presence. So that's where you set your climate. So when you are, it's showing your personality and allowing students to show their personality while you are giving instruction, for instance. So you're not a robot, you're a human. And then where the blue overlaps with the purple, cognitive presence is like those aha, exciting, bring us back to teaching moments. So you support that discourse where the blue and the purple overlap here. Students feel comfortable collaborating and getting to those aha moments when they feel like they know each other and they feel like everyone knows who they are. Sound good? Jen, anything you want to clarify or add?
Nope, that's pretty much, that's it.
Okay, so Jen, do you want to share your screen or do you want me to just pull up the doc on my screen and you tell me what to do?
I have it. I think it'll be easier if I share
Great.
the screen. So, oops, hold on. Heck. Okay. Oh. Okay. So this is the document that Kate was referencing that we created together, and basically social presence came down to, I think it's 5 key ideas, and we link those key ideas here under kind of a if you want to, because we felt like they were more action items. So, and then organized the sources under those. So for example, if which as we were creating this, I was telling Kate, like, this is where my big fear and my worries have come up. You can try these different activities. And so we have relationship building. We have methods for students to feel connected to each other and to the teacher throughout. We have ideas for creating a safe learning environment so that there's positive feedback there. And that's where we started really talking about that cooperative learning piece and team building. Gathering feedback from students was a big tenet that we discussed this summer too. And I'm sure we all survey, right, our students or use Pear Deck, but we just gave some templates here. We have, connecting students then to those support services that if it comes down to it and you determine that your students might need a little bit more help, here are some different things that you can do. When we repeated, because we felt like there was a lot of overlap, Repeated resources, we noted that for you. So like these digital check-ins are at the top. We also linked the district's social emotional learning resources. So there's a great website here that's District 99's SEL resources. And then DGS has had a social emotional learning collaborative. We're going on our third year this coming school year, and we've compiled as a collaborative and Vince built a website for the DGS collaborative, and we've linked that website here as well. So those are just places that additional supports for students, for parents, for teachers as well. If you're needing to find places for self-care ideas to take care of your own resilience, those are great places to start as well. And then again, we just came down here, linked some additional resources if you're interested in them. This is the basis that we've built the document around. Some Pear Deck templates. Pear Deck already has SEL templates built that you can easily and quickly insert into your Google Slides presentations, and students can interact with and edit for your own purposes. Something that I was playing with that I found further was this idea of the Bitmoji classroom. I'm part of a Facebook group called Bitmoji Craze for Educators, and basically it's a interactive scene to simulate the classroom. It has different parts of the classroom linked for different purposes. There's templates of classrooms that are already made. There's an example that I was playing with. I found the time consuming part was trying to find the different pieces to put in there, not figuring out necessarily how to link things. So the template has kind of a furniture library to it. If that's something you want to play with later, but again, it's something fun, cartoonish, makes you look like a real person there. Vince and Aaron, right? Kate, yeah, put together a website as well for reentry recommendations, and they have some really great information in there. And Kate and I asked them to do an introduction video that just explains what is included on their website, and if possible, what are some top quick things that they would recommend teachers take a look at before the start of the school year. So I would watch their introduction video if you're looking for just like, again, another quick resource there. So we envisioned when we talked about this that teachers might, focus maybe just on one area or two areas. We by no means think that this is something that everyone's expected to do all of, but just so you can see, so we have an example. So of the letter, it's already linked for you and it's in template form. So if you make a copy of this and you're like, I don't have the time to think about what I want to put in my course letter, like I just need something that's done, here's a quick and easy letter already done for you that you just kind of go copy paste, fill in your own information. I think it would also help students as well because they'll see similar structures, so they get used to finding where those examples are. So
you want to explain real quick, Jen, why, scroll back up for me, the Google form, how like the example just shows it done.
Oh, right. Yeah. So like Kate said, so we have our digital interest surveys, but on the templates, in order to and it's, I was going to say it's going to open because I have it, but in order to edit it, you're going to have to make a copy of it yourself. Otherwise, you're editing on the copy that everyone has. So we just kind of put little notes to remind you, like, hey, if you want to use this, just if you can make a make a copy of that for yourself so that you can have them.
Google Form was just a little trickier than
Yeah.
like the typical Google Doc.
Yeah. So like I said, lots of great resources here, even some how-to, right? So here's a how to use Padlet, how to use Google Classroom for a special discussion thread for students. We just try to make this document more resources and as teacher friendly as possible. And then if there's something specific after trying something, or you look at this and you say, this is great, but what I was really hoping for is X, Kate and I, the other instructional coaches are here to help with that as well. So besides time to explore this, that's what I got. I'm going to stop sharing my screen so that I can see all of you.
So did you guys all find that doc on the website? Okay, and there are other good docs too, on the other types of presence and on equity, and just lots of good info on there. What questions do you guys have, or is there anything that you want that we've made that you would like a closer look at while we're here with you? The floor is yours.
That website seems amazing, and I'm excited to look at all those resources. I haven't had a chance to do that yet. One question I'm thinking about, would you, and I know this is new, but would you recommend just picking like one platform for like a social space like Flipgrid or Padlet versus doing like multiple, since they have different functionality? Just something I'm thinking about.
I like how you're thinking. Like, I think it makes sense to have a routine for social presence, like a routine for maybe a cooperative learning experience to kind of warm everyone up to each other, and like the check-in at the end of the class or the end of the week, or the check-in at the beginning, like have it predictable for students in that way. Jen, I feel like I saw you about to respond too, so I'm gonna.
I would, like, I've been trying to, like, my example, Bitmoji Classroom, if I used it, I would change some of the links, because I had like, oh, here's our Padlet for our discussion, here's this for X. I think that I'm just gonna stick with Google Classroom, and I've started organizing my Google Classroom already with my typical folders, but I also have like Stay Connected as a folder, resources as a folder, and I've pinned those to the top. And I'm going to talk to students and kind of teach that routine, that if you want to communicate, or you want to be, you want that social piece remotely, like here's where that's at. After we did this, I don't know if it was in another training that I did or if it was a Facebook post, but I found something, I think it's Piazza. It looks like pizza to me, but I know that's not right. But Piazza is a kind of a discussion form that colleges seem to use, but it was free. And so I signed up for that because it's just a discussion thread that students can ask questions on and other students can answer. And as a teacher, you can go in and upvote, like, yes, this is right, or change and say no, and then it's kind of formative too for reteaching. I've never used it. I've never seen it used. It was easy to set up. And so I made a link for that, and I made folders for just general conversation and one for each of my units. And I'll get notified when new posts are in each of those documents. So we'll see how that works. Yeah, but I've linked our Piazza discussion board under resources so that my Google Classroom is my home base for where students can find that. So if they're like, I'm lost, I need something, I'm going to train them to go to Google Classroom. Resources is your best friend, and so is, stay connected. Like, these are your two best friend folders. So that's how I'm approaching it for the year.
And I
Okay, that's
think-
helpful. Yeah, I feel like I don't know. I can see it getting overwhelming for kids if there are all these different places that all of their classes are posting things. You said everything on Google Classroom and just the links. Okay.
But I do think like mixing up how you have students socially interact, I feel like that's also what you were getting to, Emily, is makes sense because not all students like having their faces on the screen, right? Like some might just want to, so just like this is tangentially related. A librarian at North, Rebecca Scott, teaches online for COD as well. And she told me that one student wanted to see Rebecca's face on the screen and have Rebecca talk to her, but have Rebecca not see or hear the student, and the student chatted her questions and responses to Rebecca. I mean, like that's a college student who knows her preferred form of communication and could communicate that with her teacher, but like every kid is going to have like different levels of comfort, right? So
Yeah, and I think going off of what Kate said, like that's part of, and we talked about it in one of the student interest surveys, right? Putting in questions about how do you prefer to communicate. Now, you have that possibility of a student taking attendance in our, remote classes that they then turn off the screen and they mute themselves and they're not really sitting there, right? Then is that a battle I want to fight? Like, okay, I marked you present, but then you decided to walk away from your computer and pretend to be there. Well, that's your choice, and you're now missing that instruction. But if that student does prefer camera off, to be muted and chat up the class, then at least I'm getting that interaction too. But I would know that ahead of time by trying to ask those questions on my student interest survey. And so that's been a new realm that I've had to think about as well. So I would put it on the student interest survey. And Kate, I think one of the examples that we linked had something similar, like a tech kind of survey, like what are you comfortable with? Like, are you comfortable with Zoom, or would you prefer, what is it, Google Video, Google Hangouts, Google
yeah,
Meet?
I'm going to share that real quick, just so if you're interested in that, you don't have to go find it. It's this one. And it's your interest, but also like do you like technology kind of? How comfortable are you?
May I ask a question? It's Jeannie Seiler.
Please.
Hi everyone. I'm dumb. Maybe I missed it, but where are we going to find these links and stuff? I know you were showing them, but where would I actually find them?
I don't know where it's linked. Do you know, Jen?
It's
Beyond the website that Rob created, I
Okay,
don't know where he has linked it.
so that we
I
can
can't find it. But Jen shared it.
Kathy shared it. So if you
You
go,
got an email?
if you in the chat feature of
Okay, I don't
the
know
Zoom
that
meeting.
either. I know
I'm
that
gonna
was
show
something
you-
new, so I don't know how to find that.
I'm going to show you another way to find it.
Okay,
So in this email that you got about this event,
yes.
it is right here. Hybrid remote learning.
Okay, so I can just click on that. Okay, perfect. To get to the actual online document with all the live links. Perfect.
You got
Okay.
it. And then hybrid remote learning.
Okay, that
And
was just,
then we're in the blue rectangle.
yes.
So
Okay, cool. I just didn't know where the initial link is to get to that stuff.
I
Thank you.
mean, and that's crucial. And I'm so glad you asked, because I'm sure you weren't the only one. And I'm like, where's the link myself? So I'm glad you
Thank
asked.
you. That makes me feel better.
No, you are not alone.
I have a question too.
Yeah, Diana.
So depending on how we start, so we might not see all the students face to face, and I want them to be as comfortable as possible. But at the same time, if we are starting remotely, I don't want to say that I want to force them where I can see their face, but it just would be nice at the beginning to put a face with the name. Because in the
Yes.
spring, I think it was easier for us because we already knew them. And now it's just like, if I just see a name, I feel I'm missing that connection piece.
I think I feel the same way, right? And I'm torn too, because I've read stuff about like equity and requiring the camera to be on, and what if they have a background that they don't want to be broadcasting. And I agree with you, right? I want to see faces with names. I think talking about and setting up a classroom culture of this is a new way of learning, and we're going to need to work in this fashion. And so, what does the Mustang Way or North Star, what does that mean in terms of remote learning? And that might mean like we need to turn our cameras on, and we need to stay on mute unless we have a question. And we need to stay appropriate in the chat. We need to be dressed appropriately, and we need to make sure that things that are in our background are appropriate for the school setting. One of the things that's linked on the document is netiquette. So how to, like a document for social interaction online. And Kate and I talked about, do we have students? Because I like to have that discussion with students and kind of come up with our classroom rules, which always fall under that respectful, responsible, engaged anyway feature. But what does that mean online? And so under that, that safe learning environment, we have that piece too. And so then I would spend some time, I'm going to be spending some time if we open hybrid, both in person and remotely, going through these one by one with students and talking about not just, okay, these are the expectations, but here's why, here's how remote learning is different. And we've been told students are 10th through 12th are going to be somehow have modules or training for how this new way of learning, right? And freshman orientation and freshmen and transfer students were going to be trained. I don't know what any of that looks like. And so I'm just kind of going to go off of these that Kate linked and have those discussions with students. Maybe even teach them how, I don't even know how to do it, but I know Zoom. I prefer Zoom over Google Meet or Google Meetings. I just think I can do more with Zoom, and I know Zoom has those backgrounds. I have no idea how to create a Zoom background, but I would learn and maybe teach students how to do that, so that if what's behind them is making them self-conscious, they can kind of create their own setting for learning.
May I ask a question? It's Jeannie Seiler again.
Yeah.
I did use Zoom, but I switched to the Google Meets because I got bombed and I had followed all the protocols. I had a half-naked man exposed, his belly. All, and then I also had another class where a student joined the class, and after a student had been trying to speak Spanish, some high school kid jumped in and said, "Hey, your Spanish sounds like..." So I quit using Zoom because of that. That was two separate occasions. Did anyone else have that experience of being Zoom bombed? That's why I switched to Google Chat.
No, I read about those. Unfortunately, my students weren't really interacting with me virtually like this last spring. I've read that there are new security measures in place, like the waiting room, like,
Yes, we had the waiting room, and so we immediately clicked him out. But
it's a lot to manage.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So I don't know. I hope I don't see that this fall. Kate, you.
Can I jump in?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't have any, bad pictures or anything come up, but I used the waiting room feature with the doorbell where I had to click kids in
Yeah.
one by one.
Yeah.
And there was one moment where there was a name I didn't recognize.
Mhm.
And so I just didn't allow that person in.
Yeah. Well,
Um,
we had it where they stole the same name. They were using the same student name.
oh, yeah, I don't know about that.
That's a high level of organization
Yeah.
to commit to
Yeah.
bombing a class.
Yeah.
Yeah, my gosh. Well, I was going to ask Rios, I was going to put you on the spot since you have a background right now for people who are comfortable using Zoom until it proves, until it proves not worth it. Would you mind showing real quick how you added the background?
Yeah, so just so you know, I don't think it's available on the Chromebooks. It has to be the desktop version. So you have to, if a student's using like a desktop or a laptop and not the Chromebooks, they can probably do it. But I believe on the Chromebooks it's not implemented yet. But on the desktop version, if you go down to the bottom where you see the little video camera, there's like an arrow that pops up. If you click on that, there's an option for choose virtual background. And then when you click on that, they have a couple like ready-made ones that you can click on. Here, I'll go ahead and do that. Oh yeah, now I've got grass in the background. And you can choose anything. So, again, like what's appropriate. I guess, would this one be Borderline? Do you guys know what that is? The Shining? It's the Outlook Hotel. Because I guess we all live in the Outlook Hotel nowadays, it sometimes feels like. But anyway, so you can, but you can pick anything. You can go online and find an image, and you can even put GIFs in there, moving backgrounds. So now I've got this moving, like I want to be there. That'd be wonderful. But yeah, as far as I know, it only works right now on the desktop version. But you got to go.
I know our department chair, Kim Pikowski was, for the sake of equity, was arguing to have kind of automatic backgrounds so that the kids didn't have to set it up. And for the sake of equity, now you can't see where I live. You guys, we have 2 minutes. Any other last quick questions or?
So is Kim working on that? To have
Kim
that
is always
in
working on
place?
that. Yeah, Kim is always working on that. I mean, Kim is not the decision maker or implementer, but she is the thorn in the side of those people.
So that could be an option to start the school year where everyone has kind of a blank background or something. I'll tell you, I'm on my computer, my work computer right now, and I do not have the prefabricated virtual backgrounds.
Yeah.
You know what? It might be, you might have to update Zoom also, or maybe not, because I think when we all got on Zoom, I think it had. So you're going down to the little camera at the bottom left-hand corner, right?
Yeah, and when I click on choose virtual background, it literally says there's like a black box, and it says none in the black box.
And there's
And
no
then
other.
it says that I can add an image or a video, but I don't have any images saved that I would want to.
I don't know where that came from. I'm not a North teacher, so I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. That's really bizarre. I've got like probably there's like 10 different ones, or actually there's like 6 available to me, as well as the one that I added on my own. So that's really weird. But do you have like the little plus next to the choose virtual background?
Yeah.
So then
when I click on it and it says that I can add one, I just haven't tried very hard to do anything with it yet.
That's really weird.
I feel the same. Like, I just want it there in case in the moment I want it. Yeah. Well, you guys, I'm sorry to say, you know what? I'm going to email Rod with a D to see if he knows anything about that, and to maybe I'll check in with Kim on the backgrounds for students. I will, you know what? I'm going to be super creepy and take a picture just so I know who. If I want to send you guys an update, then I can send you an update on what I find out. Email Jen email each other with ideas. But Kim, I'm going to pick on you for just a second. So I am a librarian. Chris Rios is a librarian. We help everyone. Leslie is a coach. Jen is a coach at South. They help everyone. So reach out to us, okay? Do not try to navigate this all by yourself because it's going to be weird.
And I know for the backgrounds, I just finished grad school and one of our professors tried to use them and it was completely frustrating. You need to be updated on your computer and both Zoom. So you might need to make sure that a lot of things are streamlined, both Zoom and your computer, because as grad students, none of us were, some of us could get it, some of us couldn't. When I did it, my entire face was like the same as the background. And it was because like my computer was out of date. So it might be more frustrating for all students to be on the same background.
Okay. Okay.
I'm sure you could figure it out, but I think it might, for every student, I think it might be difficult.
Okay. Good to know. Good to know. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
All right, everyone. Well, happy rest of the summer and waiting for what fall's going to look like.
Yeah,
Thanks for coming.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.